Hi guys, how you doing? So today we're going to take a look at the Corsair K57 and the Ironclaw mouse. Now I've brought these recently because I was basically sick and tired of having to break down my desk every time I wanted to do a build. All the wires down the back, it just looks a mess. So I thought, let's go wireless. I came across these two items, just having a quick look around. I got them from Scan here in the UK, and I'm quite impressed. It's not the same quality as the K65 and the M65 that I currently have. However, it's not bad. So what we're going to do is we'll have a quick look at them, just looking around them. We're going to go into IQ, we're going to have a look at all the different settings that you can do, and basically see if it's something that you want to buy yourself. Let's do it. Guys, what we're going to do now is have a quick look around the keyboard. If we have a look at the top, here you can see that's where our little dongle is attached to the computer. We've then got a USB port to charge it and update, our power button, and then on the rear we've got a couple of legs just to kind of give it some elevation if you need it. So let's just flip it round. Okay, so here is the wrist rest. We'll just slot that in. And there you go, so you're ready to go. So if I just quickly turn it on, you can see all this up and looking pretty. Over here on the left hand side we have 6 macro keys. We have a button over here where we can program it, or we can do it in IQ. Standard layout for a European UK keyboard, number pad. So up the top here is obviously we have the macro key, we have the brightness toggle there, so you can turn it up and down. We have a lock key, basically, so when you're in game, if you accidentally hit the Windows key, it's not going to take you to menu, so that's very handy to have. We have our mute button, volume down, volume up, and then our media keys as usual, so all very nice. So here we have the mouse. We've got a scrolling wheel there, a couple of buttons on the top, a couple of buttons front left, 2 side buttons, and then just one there. Underside we've got the Bluetooth off and the 2.4 gigahertz switch, a sensor, and then some pads there obviously to make it smooth on your desk. We've got our Corsair logo, and yeah, it's quite nice. It is a little bit light for a mouse, especially one that's got a battery in it, but it's not too bad. It's quite nice in the hand. It plays out quite well. We're going to be doing an audio test with this one and comparing it with my M65 Elite, but yeah, it's quite nice. I'm just going to quickly turn it on, and then you can see I've got a light at the back, just underneath the scroll wheel there and on the side. Guys, what we're going to do now is do a quick audio test comparing the K57 with the K65 Lux. This is a mechanical keyboard, so let's have a quick sound test. So as you can hear, there's a big difference. Now, obviously, depending on the way which you use your keyboard, one will be better over the other. I definitely prefer the mechanical keyboard with the replaceable keycaps, and obviously you get these texture keys. But this one's quite good. Obviously if you're in a quieter environment, then yeah, then that is a lot better than, especially if you're doing loads of typing. So yeah, that's the keyboard. So now we're going to compare the Ironclaw with the M65 Elite. So as with the keyboard, the M65 is definitely louder than the Ironclaw. Obviously it comes down to personal preference. Again, the M65 is a nicer feel. It's just a kind of a more robust device. It just feels nicer in the hands. This is, the Ironclaw is a little bit plasticky. you know, obviously if you kind of just look at the way they're built, it's different. But yeah, the Ironclaw's not bad, and it sounds a bit quieter as with the keyboard, so it's probably not going to irritate anyone that's in your household too much. So yeah, it's all right. Guys, what we're going to do now is have a quick look at IQ, just have a look at some of the basic settings and some of the lighting effects. So if we go into the settings tab here, here you can see that the settings are very similar. We've got our battery status, our dongle polling rate, you know, obviously that's going to be the same. So the higher we have it, the better, the more responsive, but obviously it's going to drain a little bit of battery. Same as the brightness, you know, you can adjust that to your liking really. So the brighter you have it, obviously the more battery it's going to use. Layout, change as appropriate. Firmware, you can update that, but you're going to need to put the dongle in. Sleep mode, I like to have that enabled, you know, just so, again, it saves battery. It can be a little bit of a pain if you leave it on the default 15 minutes, but I change it up to 99 minutes. You can change it to 30, just whatever you want really. And then here we can see, obviously down here in the bottom, it will tell us what the battery life is like. It's not really much help, if I'm honest, but it's an option. And then obviously this is when we can do the pairing, and then yeah, over here it is basically exactly the same with all the bits and pieces. Instant lighting is quite handy. Here we can just change everything from red, orange, yellow, green, and all the colours in between. So what we're going to do now is have a quick look at some of the lighting effects. Now the keyboard has more options available to it than the mouse, so we're going to focus on that first. The default is the spiral wave, which is quite nice. We have the rainbow wave, colour shift, we have a pulse, colour wave, and this one is quite nice. And then obviously the static colour, which we can change, which is very similar to the instant lighting, but you have a lot more options available to you as a keyboard. But you know, it's very limited as to what it can do. It's just going to change colour essentially. There's only a few different lighting points on it. So with obviously the keyboard, it has, you know, lights behind each individual key, so it can do a lot more. Here it's just going to glow, change colour. Nothing too exciting really. So that's it. Guys, I've been daily driving these now for a couple of months, and I'm pretty impressed. You know, for what I paid for it, I think it was about 80 quid for the keyboard and £35 for the mouse. The mouse was reconditioned. I think they offer good value. Now the wireless, so it's going to cost you a little bit more than if you're going to go with a wired one. I don't know what that is really, to be honest, but it's just the way things are really. You want an extra feature, it's going to cost you a little bit more. The build quality of both of them are not fantastic. They're not as good as the K65 and the M65, that's for sure. But obviously they're at a lower price point. There is a slight issue, I believe, with the Ironclaw mouse. The scroll wheel has a tendency to break, and when it does, it's not repairable. But you know, I pay £35 for a reconditioned one. You know, I've got a year's warranty with it, so I'm not too bothered about that. And it's shown no signs of being an issue. But I'm not really a heavy user, so that may be the reason. Yeah, the macro keys on the keyboard is a really good idea. It's not one which I use, but I can definitely see the benefit of that. You know, if you want to kind of start and stop your video capture or something like that, that's certainly something which I'd use. I'm going to try and leave a link in the description to a Corsair video where they do cover it, where they kind of open up a notepad window and do this, that and the other. Yeah, I can definitely see the benefit of it there. So would I recommend them? Yeah, I don't see why not, to be honest. You know, I found them really easy to use. You know, the reason why I bought them was to kind of have a clear desk, to be able to kind of move the keyboard and mouse around, and to kind of not have the wires in the way. And you know, they've done a really good job there. You know, it is a pain. You know, sometimes you're gaming or doing whatever you're doing, and the battery goes in one of them because you haven't got a routine in place. You know, I don't kind of at the end of the day kind of put the cable in to charge them up. Maybe if I did, then I kind of would have less problems. But yeah, so overall, I think they're very good products. So yeah, so go out and get them if you're looking for them. Yeah, because they're all right. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.